Okay, so we're gonna do some subtracting with negative numbers. And let's start with this. Let's say there's an ice cream cone with the cost of $2. So we have $0. So we're starting out at the 0. So 0 minus the cost of the ice cream, -2. We'll move over to 1, 2, and we have an answer of -2. Then we could say we have $0, and then we look into our pocket and we pull out $10. So 0 plus +10. We could write the positive there in brackets, but usually that's how you see a positive number. So 0 plus +10. We start at 0, and then we go over 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we see there 0 plus +10 will be +10. Then we could say, now we have $10, so we want to buy an ice cream. So we could say 10 plus -2. 10 plus -2, which is the cost of the ice cream is -2, and we have $10 in our pocket. So we're adding the cost of the ice cream to our total amount of money. So we start at 10, +10, and we add -2. So we start at 10, we add -2, 1, 2, and that leaves us with +8. So we had $10, we added the cost of $2 of an ice cream with -2, and we're left with $8, +8. So then we could say we could flip this equation around and end up with the same result. So we're at -2. We start at -2 because we're thinking, okay, I want that $2 ice cream, so I'm going to be out $2. So we start at -2. And then we see, oh, I have $10 in my pocket. So -2, the cost of the ice cream, plus the $10 that I found in my pocket to pay for the ice cream. We can go from -2 and add 10, add +10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And we're there at $8. Because these two equations are the same, we're just thinking about it differently. Because in this equation here, we knew we had the $10 first, so we started at +10, and then we saw we wanted to spend $2, so we represented that with -2, and we added that cost, and we knew we're ending up with $8. So in this scenario down here is more like we saw the ice cream first, and we realized that's going to cost us $2, so we represent it with -2. we look in our pocket, we see we have $10, so we represent that with positive 10. So negative 2 plus positive 10 equals 8. And these are basically the same. So here we have a situation where we want to buy 2 ice creams because we realize the cost is 2. We realize we have $10 and the cost is 2, so we know 2 plus 2 is not more than 10, so we know we can get 2 ice creams, but let's just do the math to make sure. So we have $10, we start at positive 10, and then we add the cost of 1 ice cream, so we add negative 2, 1, 2, and we're going to add another negative 2 because we want 2 ice creams, so we continue 2 more, 1, 2, and then we're left with positive 6. So if we have $10 and we buy 2 ice creams for $2 each, which is $4, that could also be represented as, like, you could just say $10 minus $4 equals $6. So this is like a different way of thinking about that, but this is more descriptive because this doesn't really describe as well as this equation. This just says we have 10 minus 4 equals 6. But here in this equation, we're talking about negative numbers, which in this situation is the cost of the item. So it's more descriptive to do it like this. So once again, 10 plus negative 2 is 8, positive 8, plus another negative 2 is positive 6. So let's continue on here. And I just want to uncover that whole thing. Okay, so let's continue on. So say we wanted 3 ice creams. We have 3 negative 2's representing the cost. Here we want 4 ice creams. 1, 2, 3, 4 ice creams. And at the bottom we want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ice creams. So let's see what we have here. Okay, so we'll start at this one. 10 minus 10 plus negative 2. So 10. Okay, we'll add this one with 3. So 10 plus negative 2 is 1, 2. And then plus another negative 2 is 1, 2. And plus the third negative 2 is 1, 2. Leaving us at positive 4. And then here we have 10 plus negative 2 plus negative 2 plus negative 2 plus negative 2. Because here we have $10 and we want 1, 2, 3, 4 ice creams. And we know they each cost $2. So we're representing the cost of that $2 ice cream with a negative 2 number. So 10 plus negative 2 is going to be 8 again, but we're not stopping there. That's just for 1 ice cream. So 10 minus 10 plus negative 2. 1, 2. So that's 1. 10 plus negative 2 plus negative 2. 1, 2. Plus negative 2. 1, 2. Plus negative 2. 1, 2. So that leaves us with positive 2. And we know we have money for one more ice cream. We still have $2 left. So I did this last equation to say 10 minus 2 minus 2 minus 2 minus 2. I mean 10 plus minus 2 plus minus 2 plus minus 2 plus minus 2 plus minus 2. So that's how many ice creams? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ice creams. So 10 plus negative 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times is, so we want 5 ice creams. They each cost 2. We could count by 2, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. That's 10. Okay, let's look here. 10, we start at 10, plus negative 2, 1, 2, 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 plus negative 2, 1, 2. And that leaves us at 0. And you could have checked that equation, like we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ice creams, and we have $10. So the 5 ice creams cost $2 each. So we could count by 2s. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So that confirms our equation. Now we can even write it like this. It's short, like, see, you have here 10 plus negative 2 plus negative 2. Once you get up to 5 2's, it's very repetitive. So in this way, you could say 10 plus negative 2 times 2. That's the same as this equation, because we're adding negative 2. We're 10 plus negative 2, 2 times. 10 plus negative 2 plus negative 2, that's 2 times. So here we could say 10 plus negative 2 times 3, which, okay, so yeah, I forgot here, so this would be 6. 10 plus negative 2 times 2 is 6. 10 plus negative 2 times 3 is 4. So 10 plus negative 2 plus negative 2 plus negative 2, that's 3 times. So 10 plus negative 2 3 times. 10 plus negative 2 3 times is 4. So 10 plus negative 2, 1, 2, 3, 4 times. 10 plus negative 2, 4 times should be 10 plus negative 2. How many times? 1, 2, 3, 4 times, because we're getting 4 ice creams. We're paying $2 4 times. So that answer is 2. So we have 4 plus negative 2 times 4 equals 2. Now, if we get all of the ice creams, 10 plus negative 2 times 5, spend all our money, would be 0. So there you have 10 plus negative 2 times 5 is 0. 10 plus negative 2, how many times? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times equals 0. So that equals 0 because we have $10 and we're buying 5 ice creams. And they each cost $2, we're getting 5. So if we count by 5s, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, that's the cost of each ice cream. So we know that costs $10. Alright. so this is even, you don't really write that multiply with an x like that. Once you get into bigger equations like these, you write the multiplication with a dot. So, it's like 10 plus negative 2 times 2 is the same as this one, which is 10 plus negative 2, how many times? 1, 2 times. So that's 6. And then we have 3, so 10 plus negative 2 times 3 is the same as saying 10 plus negative 2, how many times? 1, 2, 3 times equals 4. So 10 plus negative 2 times 3 equals 4. It's the same as 10 plus negative 2 plus negative 2 plus negative 2 equals 4. You're just saying here 10 plus negative 2, 1, 2, 3 times. So it's a shorter way and a descriptive way of saying this. So here we have 10 plus negative 2 4 times. So that would be here. 10 plus negative 2, how many times? 1, 2, 3, 4 times is 2. So 10 plus negative 2 times 5 equals 0, because 10 plus negative 2, how many times? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times equals 0. Because the cost of the ice cream is $2 each, so you're spending 2, 4, 6, 8, $10. So you're left with 0.